Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Commissioners Scar and Fournier are out today, so it's just me. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Here's a little announcement about the courthouse elevator. The Tillamook County Courthouse, located at 201 Laurel Avenue, will undergo essential infrastructure and system upgrades to the elevator beginning Thursday, June 5, 2025 through Tuesday, June 10, 2025. During this time, the elevator will be out of service, but all courthouse and county offices will remain open to the public. Visitors are encouraged to call ahead for appointments and reschedule if possible to minimize disruption and ensure accessibility during the upgrade period. Accessibility accommodations include access to basement offices via the rear basement ramp, temporary front access ramp installation allowing entry to the south entrance and first floor offices, and assisting individuals requiring access to second floor services by meeting in designated areas located on the basement or first floor, depending on the nature of the business. We appreciate the public's patience and understanding as we complete these necessary improvements to enhance accessibility and service. Okay, we've called the meeting to order, and we can jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
We have 10 patients in the hospital today, plus one brand new baby. Ambulance crews did 391 transports yesterday. No transfers, no transports home. 88 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon today. That's 19 less than yesterday. 284 discharge delays. That's 3 less than yesterday. Let's see. No new news on dialysis. We're still waiting for CMS to come and do their visit. We expected that visit to occur a couple of weeks ago, or at least that's what DCI was hoping for. Still hasn't happened. I'll be going down there later this morning to check with Molly and see where they're at, if they've heard anything. But they are ready to serve patients, just waiting for the government's approval. We have our surgery projects going on. Apparently, we're going to be pouring concrete this week. Footings have been put in place, and they are ready for concrete. I just don't know which day that's going to happen. So if you're around the hospital, watch for extra truck traffic as we continue to work on that project. And I think, one more thing. Let's see, 2 things actually. June 11th, we're really excited. There's going to be a pinning ceremony to honor the 2025 RN graduates, and that is a really exciting time. Pinning is a nurse tradition that we do for registered nurses, and the college is holding their pinning ceremony on June 11th, and it'll be at 5:30 p.m., so we're excited about that to get those nurses graduated soon. The other thing is that our friend Steve Morris, who's worked for Adventist Health for 28 years and 3 months, retired on Friday. Steve was one of our telecom engineers, great guy, had a great turnout for his retirement celebration, and we're so grateful for Steve's commitment to this organization for 28 years. His wife, Paula, retired in July of 2021, with more than 40 years of work here at Adventist Health Tillamook. So we wish Steve and Paula lots of joy and fun in their retirement. So with that, unless you've got questions for me, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric. I do have one question. I was wondering is the CMS visit, if you could just let us know if the CMS visit is something that we commissioners could call and ask them to expedite that appointment. So if you could just let us know if that's, yeah.
Absolutely. I was involved in an email conversation with Ree Armitage from Senator Wyden's office, and the senator was going to put some pressure on CMS to get out and get that done. The apparently what the process is that a dialysis center has to have one patient that's private pay, or being paid by a commercial insurance company, not by Medicare or Medicaid. And they have to go through their dialysis, dialyze the patient, provide them a treatment plan, and treat them multiple times. And then CMS, which is the Center for Medicare Services, comes out and evaluates the treatment of that patient. And so that's the last step. What I will do today is I will try and find out who actually, if it is CMS themselves or if it's CMS delegating that authority to the Oregon Health Authority. So when we have a CMS validation visit at our hospital, it's the Oregon Health Authority does it on behalf of CMS working. They're employed by CMS to do that. So I'll try and figure that out, and I'll send a couple of you an email once we sort through that. But I know that Senator Wyden's office was getting ready to get involved last week to put pressure on. So, and that's what we'd like. Great. Because we're ready to go. They are ready to go. They had when I was down there last week, they had one patient and 3 staff members. So they are ready to see people.
They absolutely are, and we continue to hear from people in the community who need dialysis. So we don't want it for this to play out at the speed of government. So we'd be happy to apply pressure if that'll be
helpful. Good morning. It's Suzanne and Eric. Yay. Would you let me know also, because I would appreciate being able to put a little pressure somewhere to make sure it happens also.
Absolutely. You were on my mind, Senator. I will get you looped in that email as well.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. And congratulations to Steve and Paula Morris. They are both wonderful human beings and were a pleasure to work with. So I'm happy for them. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. It was sad for us, great for them.
Yeah. And also, thanks for mentioning the nurses pinning ceremony, June 11th. Congratulations to all of the very nearly graduated nursing class. That's very exciting for our whole community.
I shared this with last week when I gave a report to Kiwanis, and one of the Kiwanis members was reflecting on his own spouse's pinning and capping, and how meaningful that was to her as a nurse and him as a spouse. It's a big deal. So we're really excited, and I'm glad TBCC is doing it.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'll see you there, if not sooner.
Yep, I'll be there.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm delighted to hear Senator Weber's voice this morning. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
How are you?
Busy. But
indeed,
today's the first day in a long time that I haven't had an early morning meeting that kept me from coming here. So I'm here, and we're getting close. Sine die is imminent. It has been announced. It could be any time, but we still have a lot of work to do. Bills are coming from the House, and there is, a bill goes from the Senate to the House, and it gets passed, and then if it has a change, then we have to have a concurrence. Or if it comes from the, it goes back and forth. So sometimes we see these bills more than once as they change in the different houses. Well, I think the pile on the desk yesterday when we went in to the floor was about 10 inches tall of file folders of bills that still need to be heard. I know our blue sheets, which we get every day, which is like an agenda for the day, yesterday was 36 pages long. So
oh my gosh,
we're doing slowly a lot. We only got through 9 pages of the 36 yesterday, so then they'll add some more on to the end. But we are continuing to work on all kinds of interesting things, and we still have some committees that are operating, rules and revenue and ways and means, And so there are still bills that are coming out of those committees, but otherwise committees are not meeting unless it's an emergency. Other than the special committee that I have been appointed to after the committees were finished, and that was the Transportation Committee. So I'm doing my second tour of duty on that. And I've also on the committee that is going to be working on the bridge, the big bridge, and that will happen through the summer. But one thing, we know the end is coming because budget bills are starting to come in. And so we have heard budget bills on the Oregon Advocacy Commission and the Naturopathic Medicine and Occupational Therapy and Board of Medical Imaging and Board of Examiners for Speech and Language Pathology and Medical Examining Board. We are hearing all of those, and in our Ways and Means, we are also working on bills concerning education, and they'll be coming over soon also. But that's usually the sign that we're close to the end, is when the bills start reflecting the different budgets. One thing I wanted to say especially is that the bottle bill, which is I am getting a lot of emails on, is still in the House. It hasn't come to the Senate, so it's not completely hashed out yet. There's still much more debate that will be on the bottle bill. We are still meeting on transient lodging tax. We have had 3 extensive meetings with a lot of folks from around the state in the destination management and also in League of Oregon Cities and Orla and representatives from the cities. And we've had some really good representation, especially from along the coast. But how it's going to turn out, I don't know. I am still working towards either a change in the 70-30 split or being able to recognize emergency services as a funding stream in that money. And others are too, because others are seeing how our emergency services especially are being taxed to the limit because of tourism. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I'm still working on the Shiloh levy bill. If you want to look it up, it's House Bill 3980, and I'm doing it in conjunction with Rep. Owens. So hopefully that will be all hashed out. There were a couple of things from the past that needed to be reallocated, and so we're working on those things. And the Shiloh levy is one that, you know, we need that. That needs to be done, needs to be handled. So anyway, that's another thing that we're working on. But like now, most of my afternoons are taken up with meetings on transportation. Do we have anything that I can tell you that would make you think or discern? No, I don't have anything to tell you yet. It's all still being hashed out. So that's coming. Maybe next week I'll have more news for you on that. June 11th, I want to congratulate all of those nurses. They are so needed, especially in our area, and appreciate all that they do. And it's also the day that the 2nd Street Plaza, I understand, is going to be dedicated in Doug Henson's memory. So,
nice.
Big day. And then we're going to have June Dairy Parade. It's just going to be on us, isn't it? So anyway, I think I'll stop there. I could talk on for quite some time, but it's nice to be back. It's nice to hear your voice. we'll be chatting again soon, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Senator. It's so great to have you back on the call. We've really missed you, not only us commissioners, but and also the community. People very much value the time that you are able to spend with us, and they can hear an update from you personally. So thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be here. Appreciate that.
And thanks. Oh, you're welcome. And thanks for the updates on the things you're working on. I was hoping you would talk about the bill that proposes changing the transient lodging tax 70-30 split. So thank you for mentioning that. I'm glad it's still alive. I'm hopeful. I will hold hope for you. It's so important.
Yes. And let me tell you, it is a very contentious issue.
Oh, sure. That's why it's never gotten this far before. Yeah,
yes.
So this is bravo to you, Senator, and to Representative Javity that it's gotten this far, because it's never gotten this far before. So well done. Thank you.
And we also need to especially thank Representative Nancy Nathanson, who has also been, a really staunch supporter of looking at something that was decided 20 years ago, and reapplying it to today, because things have changed.
Really, yeah. Is there still opportunity, or do you have need for more testimony from local people about this?
If we need testimony, I will put the word out.
Great.
Because right now we haven't gotten it to a hearing, because there's still all of this contention about what it should be. I met with League of Oregon Cities yesterday afternoon to discuss the parameters of what is necessary to get us to be whole. I've taken, I was so grateful that the Creamery and law enforcement all up and down the coast and emergency services after the Memorial Day weekend got us all of the data on how we were impacted by tourism. It was astonishing. You realize that weekend, here we are, a little community of 5,000 people. We had over 20,000 visitors to the cheese factory that weekend. Mm-hmm. One of the gentlemen, I had to run out there and get a piece of that 2014 cheese for a gift basket I needed to do.
Uh-huh.
And I chatted with a man there, and he and his son were visiting, and I said, "You don't have an ice cream cone in your hand?" And he said, "I'm not waiting in that line." And amazingly enough, he was from upstate New York. He said, "We have dairy farms at home too, I understand completely.
Yeah.
But anyway,
sometimes the line is outside and down the sidewalk.
Oh, with the line, it was about 10:30 in the morning, and the line was all the way through the gift shop.
Yeah.
So, amazing.
It is. The tourism has dramatic impacts, and of course, we're grateful for tourists, and we need tourists. Our economy is dependent on tourists, and the impacts are just so big. And so I'm very grateful for your work. I didn't know about Representative Nancy Nathanson, so thanks for mentioning her also. I'll send her a note and thank her. It's just really, it's so important that we change that. And you probably know, just in case you don't, that the commissioners put on the ballot an initiative asking voters to approve a 4% increase. Thank you. So did I. But right now, it looks like it's going down. Right now, it's 11 votes down. And so if there was ever a story about every vote counts, this is 11 votes down, which triggers an automatic recount. So it'll have to be recounted. And there's the chance that it could change in that there are a number of uncounted ballots that either their signatures don't match their signature on file, or the envelope wasn't signed at all. So people could still come in and fix their signature or sign their envelope, and their ballots could be counted. So it could be changed that way. But it looks like it's going down. which is discouraging to me, has huge budget implications that I'll talk more about when it's my turn. But the nutshell of it is that would have brought about $900,000, $1 million or so into our general fund, which we desperately need. And so we're using our savings to fill that gap, and we're going to run out of savings. And so it's
other states have things like sales tax and other things that people don't even think about, the fact that they're paying a tax. We don't have that option. We don't.
You're absolutely right.
And this is something, if I go someplace and stay in a hotel, well, I used to do this when I was researching transient lodging taxes, but I don't look at my bill and say, oh my gosh, I'm not staying here because the transient lodging tax is %. No, I'm going to stay there.
Right. You go where you're going.
And So we go places, we pay it. The people who live here don't pay it. It was a win-win situation for us. So
it really was. Here is hoping. Here's hoping to your bill that if your bill goes through, depending on how it ends up, maybe we won't need to go back to voters, assuming it doesn't change. We won't need to go back to voters to ask again. So here's hoping on both of those things, and thank you for your work. And also, I'm sure you have to run, but thank you for the work on the Shiloh levee fix. For folks who don't know, the Shiloh levee, which is on North 101 in Tillamook, protects the North 101 businesses, farms, homes, and the highway itself from Wilson River flooding. The levee is deteriorating. It needs to be repaired. That's a multi-million-dollar fix, and there is a grant available, but there was a legal problem with the language in the statute that didn't allow cities or counties to apply for those funds, which seems crazy. So Senator Weber and Representative Javity are working on that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep working on it. Hopefully we can get a positive resolution.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you again so much. It was delightful to hear your voice.
See you soon.
Okay, wonderful. I'll look forward to it.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye. Do we happen to have Representative Javity with us today? Not hearing him. We also do not have the Tillamook County Community Health Center today, so we can move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail, are you with us this morning?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. The update from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy in Wheeler, just one or two things. I believe most of the work around Hospital Road has been completed. That's good news. And other good news, mark your calendars, October 4th, which is a Saturday, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. This is the date for the ribbon cutting and the open house. And more details will be shared as they are available. Otherwise, we're here to serve you. And if you're interested in scheduling an appointment, please give us a call. This would be with one of our medical providers, including behavioral health. Our number is 800-368-5182. And our hours of operation for the clinic, 8 to 6 p.m. The pharmacy is 9 to 5:30, open during lunch. And that's it for me this morning. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Gail. Somebody asked me the other day if there are healthcare providers, doctors, or nurse practitioners, et cetera, are still accepting patients. Are they accepting new patients there at Nehalem Bay Health Center?
Oh, yes. Yes, we are.
Great. Okay, that's good to know. And I just wanted to say that driving by that building is gorgeous. The design is so nice, and that beautiful diagonal glass, I drive by there and think, man, I'd like to work in that building. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yes, the windows are a great feature, and they're pretty strong. They're supposed to withstand gale force winds, and that's what we need sometimes around here.
True. Yeah, it makes me happy for people that they will be able to work with that view, and for patients that they'll be able to see a healthcare provider in that building. And it's just a wonderful facility and a great thing for our community. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you for all your support.
You're welcome. Well, with that, we can move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Do we have Frank Hanna-Williams with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Frank Hanna-Williams, Director at Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. If you're interested in an appointment, information about any of our services, you can reach us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. Just like to, we have a new staff person starting this week, and that is Robin Herrick. Robin worked for us for a number of years, left us to do some work at another spot in Oregon, and has returned and just started yesterday. Robin has been hired as our deputy director, and she has a tremendous knowledge of Tillamook County, and is a fine practitioner, and I'm looking forward to working with her and pushing things forward here at the agency. So just want to give a special shout out to her and welcome her back. And if there are any questions about the agency, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Frank. That's great news about Robin Herrick. Welcome back to her. I don't think I know her personally, but I know so many people who know her, and people have been talking about her return in the community, and that they're just really excited to have her back. So it's great. She has an amazing reputation, so it's great that she is returning. And thank you for your report this morning. You're welcome. Well, this being the first Tuesday of the month, I believe we have Sheriff Brown on the line to give us a Sheriff's Office update.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning. We hear you fine. Thank you.
So I got a report, kind of put together some stats for the month of May. And so I'll just get right into it. So for the month of May, 2025, we had a total of 1,684 calls for service that we responded to. If you look back to 2024, we had 1,573. So we're up just a little bit over 100 calls for the month of May from last year. When you look at the total number of calls for service, that 1,684, that averages to about 54 calls per day. Give or take a little bit, but that's a lot of calls for service that our deputies are handling on a regular basis. And then again, just a little snapshot of some of the call types that we've handled. We responded to 6 assault calls. We responded to a very large amount of disturbances this month, which was 42 compared to last year, 2024. It was only 29, so we jumped quite a bit up from that. Motor vehicle accidents and recreational accidents combined, we had 43 for the month of May. That's actually a sharp decline from last year. Maybe not a sharp decline, but last year there were 50 crashes and recreational accidents that we responded to. Property-related type crimes, burglaries, thefts, we responded to 20 in total, just burglaries and thefts. We responded to 63 CAMI calls. Now, CAMI, I've mentioned before, is child abuse or child neglect related calls. Often we partner with DHS to respond to those calls. Clearly that's a number we would love to see much, much lower, but compared to last year was 69, so we are a little bit down. from last year. So that's a large number that we would like to not see, but it is a reality. Our office made 26 arrests, and I'll give this disclaimer because it's only a few days after the end of the month. There's probably a small handful of arrests or cases that are not in the computer system yet. So when I run the stats, they're probably a little short. So 26 is the number for this month, but most likely we actually have more than that. They're just not in the system yet. Similar to that is the cases that we've written, 54 for the month of May. There's probably another 10 to 12 more that are just not in the system yet. Last year, there were 83 cases written. So as you can see, the number is probably not 100% accurate quite yet. 113 citations were issued. That number is most likely a little bit higher as well, just because they're not in the computer system yet. Compared to last year, we had 99 citations issued, so we're up a little bit from last year. That's indicative of the traffic stops. We had 206 in 2024 for the month of May. This year we had 296, which is almost 300. I would say that our motor vehicle accidents are down, probably at least in part because of the number of traffic stops that we were able to conduct. Traffic stops are self-initiated activity or proactive policing, and they're meant to, gain compliance, which in turn helps reduce the risk of crashes. So quite a few traffic stops this month. Another self-initiated activity, we had 130 business checks. Most of those are done by night shift, middle of the night, so that businesses know that we are keeping an eye out. We attempted 155 civil services, which is a requirement that the sheriff's office does by law. So that's another large number of proactive or self-initiated activity that we did. And just by comparison, just showing a winter month, December of 2024, which is a full 31 days. We had a total number of calls for service, which was 1,324. So about 350 calls less in December of 2024 than in the month of May. And we're not even full on into summertime yet, which June and July and August are our highest call volume months. So that's just a stat that I like to share just to show the increase. So other than that, we're looking forward to the June Dairy Parade coming up at the end of the month. And as I've mentioned multiple times, we're just gearing up for summertime, and 4th of July is just right around the corner, and we're going to do our best to keep the county safe. That's my report, and I can take any questions if anybody has them.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Thanks. This report is always so interesting to me. So thanks for compiling the stats and sharing them with the community.
You bet.
I do have a question. You were talking about assaults being up, but I wasn't keeping notes. So how many more assaults than this time last year?
I don't have this last year's assaults.
Okay.
The ones that I had stats from last year were disturbances, crashes, and then CAMI calls, which is child abuse or child neglect related calls. Okay, that's fine. And how many assaults did you say you responded to? There was 6 reported for this month. Okay. And just to kind of explain, when I say we responded to 6 assault calls, what that is that's what dispatch has identified that call as a call type. Once deputies arrive on scene, maybe it got toned out as a disturbance, but in turn was actually an assault. These are just what dispatch has ascertained from the caller and designated that as the call type. So it's not directly correlated to the end result, but usually if it's an assault call that comes through dispatch, gets toned out that we respond to, it usually has some element of physical assault. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the explanation. You bet. All right, well, we appreciate your time. You bet. Okay, have a great day. You too. Thank you. Let's move on to emergency management and Randy Thorpe. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm here. I'm doing great. To start off with, I just wanted to remind everybody that there will be a Tsunami 101 Roadshow that's going to be taking place this Wednesday at 2 different locations. To start off with, at 11 a.m., it'll be at the Pine Grove Community House in Manzanita. And then we will have a second showing at 5:30 p.m. at the main library here in Tillamook City. And this is going to be a great opportunity for everyone to learn and ask your questions about tsunamis. We are going to have Adam Batts from the Portland office of the National Weather Service. We're going to have Laura Gable, a coastal field geologist from UGAMI, and Althea Rizzo, who is the Geological Hazards Program Coordinator from Office of Emergency Management with the state. So it'll be a great opportunity, and there, like I say, there'll definitely be a question and answer period during that time. So, you know, think now you've got a couple of days to come up with those burning questions that you need answers to. So, and it's going to be a great. That's an excellent group of people that we have coming here. They've got some great expertise in this field. So please plan on being there if you can make it. Also, on the planning front, we're moving really along fastly with our energy resiliency plan. And the consultant has been gathering a lot of energy consumption information from a lot of the local businesses and our what we consider critical infrastructures, like the Blue Heron, you know, because I like to eat lunch there. But no, just kidding. They've been getting a lot of the information about their consumption that they do, also any types of backup energy that they have in case something goes out, and also kind of looking into the future of what how we can help them become more energy resilient. And the Tillamook PUD has played a vital role in getting this information and sharing it with our consultants so they can come up with a good idea of what's going on. They've sent out some questionnaires to a lot of businesses, and we'll be following that up with some one-on-one calls to get a little bit more information. And we're looking at planning an open house. I think it's going to be in late June, early July, and it'll be in person. And as soon as we get all the details on that, we'll get that publicized out so people can actually come and talk about the plan with our consultants and give us some good input on how we can make sure that we continue and can have a little resiliency in case our energy supply gets cut off. Also, we're working on a hazardous material response plan. It's on track to end to be finalized by the end of August. And the consultant that's preparing that plan is going to be conducting what they call a tabletop exercise after it gets finished in early September. And that is to kind of put a test to the plan and see if they've got everything covered or if we can identify some gaps in that response plan by having this tabletop exercise. So looking forward to having that and having a updated and excellent emergency response plan for hazardous materials. We're also putting the final touches on our request for proposal for doing updates to our community wildfire prevention plan, or as known as CWPP for the county. It's a few years old and it needs to be updated. And so hopefully we'll get that sent out. We'll get some great responses back and we'll be able to get a consultant on board for that by early July this year, so we can start work on that. So and once we get that going, there is going to be a lot of opportunity for city and public input into that plan. So we're hoping that we do get that interest and those comments and ideas from people here, because it's basically your plan, and we want to make sure that we meet the needs of individuals and also with the communities in wildfire prevention in their area. And lastly, The governor has declared June as Search and Rescue Awareness Month. And this is to highlight the work of the volunteers and search and rescue teams and to encourage outdoor safety. This Awareness Month aims to promote preparedness and safety for those exploring Oregon's natural areas. And if you know them in search and rescue, walk up, shake their hand, and buy them lunch because they do a great job for us. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that report. And thanks for mentioning the Tsunami Roadshow. It's really important. It's great information. We haven't done it. We haven't had it. I haven't attended a local Tsunami Roadshow for some years, so it's been a while since it happened. And I know that there are people who listen to this meeting on the radio who are newcomers to the community because I've talked to them. So please repeat the times and locations of the Tsunami Roadshow on Wednesday, and I encourage everyone to attend one, and especially people who haven't been before, because it's a lot of interesting, important information that will be important to the survival of communities and also visitors if it happens in the summer, and stuff we need to know, and also fascinating science. So I really encourage people to attend. So please repeat the times and places, Randy.
You bet, Commissioner. The North County one will be at the Pine Grove Community House in Manzanita. That address is 225 Lenenda. I hope I said that right. Avenue there in Manzanita, and that's will start at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they plan on running till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The one for Central County will be held at the Tillamook County Main Library, and that's at 1716 3rd Street here in Tillamook. And that one is in the evening from 5:30 to 7:30. So we're going to have one during daytime and then also one at night. So hopefully that'll be able to meet everybody's schedule and you'll be able to attend one or the other of those.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, with that, let's move on to the Oregon Department of Transportation and Bill Jablonski.
Good morning, Commissioner Bell. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well too, and it's June, and good to see the sunshine and the weather clearing up here on the North Coast as well.
Oh, I agree.
So I have a couple updates. I will do a construction update, a maintenance update, then I have a general announcement just to make at the end. On the construction updates, ODOT is continuing to work with the city of Garibaldi and the business owners through the rebuilding of US 101 through town there. I know right now we're in the final throes of doing our concrete work on the north side, so all that curb and gutter and new sidewalk and driveway aprons, concrete related, are being constructed this week and next week. We continue to work with the businesses and coordinating with them and trying to work in front of their place when they're not open. So then when they are open on the weekends, we're able to have access to those. So we've initiated some additional signs, these blue business open signs. We're putting up a sign letting travelers know not to block accesses to businesses. We know how important it is, especially in this summer months, that people have availability to stop at some of the great shops there in Garibaldi. So we're starting to work with that. We did free open the parking lot at 3rd Street. So that is public parking, and there's signs as you enter both sides of town letting the traveling public know where public parking is located. So we're hoping those little things do help. We know that the work inherently is disruptive when you come through and rebuild a street with sidewalks and driveways. We understand that, but are really appreciative of the patience of everyone in Garibaldi for being patient with the ongoing project. We have a really good contractor that we're working with as well too. Another construction update is on Oregon 131, the Tillamook River Bridge, so just to the west of Tillamook City. We're going to be starting this month on the structural and painting repairs underneath the deck where the bridge repairs need to be done. That's going to be a single lane construction held with a temporary signal there. So you'll see traffic are queuing there at the location at Tillamook River Bridge. Construction crews will be staging on that bridge bridge, and it's probably expected to be about a 4-month duration. A lot of people may ask, why are you doing it this time of year? There's an in-water work window that we have to comply with the federal regulations as far as fish go. So that's pretty critical that we do that work in the lower flow of the water when fish aren't migrating through that section of river. Also in construction, our Oregon 6 Devil's Lake Fork on Oregon 6 at mile point 32. That is a much needed steel structural repair and a coating job there. The contractor has just been awarded that contract. They have until next year of October of 26 to finish. So when I have more updates on that, I'll pass those along as well too. We're expecting a single lane there as well through that section of Oregon 6. On the maintenance side, according to our district manager, it looks like we're going to have pavement patching occurring all throughout the Tillamook County area on state highways here over the summertime. We're also on Oregon 6 at mile point 35. That's the worst area of the slide part on Oregon 6. So about a half a mile around that mile point 35. This month in June, we're going to be grinding and paving, trying to take out the larger bumps and smooth out as much as we can. This is kind of pretty typical on what we do to help alleviate some of that geometry of that road that takes place in that section as well, make it more smoother for people, especially if they're towing things. Also in that section, we're going to be raising the guardrail. The guardrail has suffered some with the change in geometry, so to speak, of the roadway there. So we're going to be adjusting the guardrail up to more of a standard height for that as well. And my last comment on the overall is this month in June on the 12th, where the Northwest Area Commission of Transportation meets. This time we're meeting in Banks in person. We also have a virtual link, and the agenda for that comes out here this week. I'll send it to county staff for their use. They can either post it on their website, or maybe people call, they want to have an access to that link. It's the city of Banks, or excuse me, the fire station in Banks from 1 to 3 next Thursday, the 12th of June. That's all my updates, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Bill. I have a question about, do you have the timeline for the Garibaldi construction project?
Oh yeah, thanks, Commissioner, for bringing that up. So what we are preparing for is the next round of paving, and this paving operation is going to be done at night, so we can have limited disruption during the day to accesses and for local traffic. So 2 weeks before 4th of July and 2 weeks following the 4th of July is when the paving and striping will be done, and the goal is to be done completely with the large work prior to the much celebrated Garibaldi Days, which happens, I think, on the 4th weekend of July. So we hope to get out of everyone's way by that time. And then we have some landscaping, planting, and some general fussing up to do, following the, July and into August. But most of the traffic disruptions will be done by mid part of July.
That is great news. Thank you. I also wanted to just thank you and give you a shout out for your help and assistance to the business community in Garibaldi. Several weeks ago, some folks in Garibaldi reached out to me. That's happened several times actually, and were telling me that businesses are down 30 to 70% in their revenue, and they're struggling. And of course, summer is high time, et cetera. And I gave somebody your name, and they reached out to you, and I heard back both from you and from them that you were just extremely helpful. They had high praise for you, for your responsiveness, for putting up signs, for arranging parking, for working with the business community. You were really responsive and timely and sensitive to their concerns. And so I just really want to shout out to you and your team at ODOT for the great work that you're doing, and also for the public interface and the ways that the work impacts the public. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll certainly pass those compliments along to the crew as well too. Like I said, we're working with a great contractor who's also very sensitive, and he actually goes door to door and coordinates with folks, whether they have an Airbnb business and they have guests coming and going. So it's been a great team, and I know that some people have been negatively impacted by some of the temporary disruption. It's unfortunate, but we're hoping to get in and out as quickly as we can.
Thank you. I've also seen stuff online from the Economic Development Council of Tillamook County, encouraging people to continue to visit Garibaldi businesses, and I would make that plea also, that we should all make an effort to visit Garibaldi businesses through July while they're struggling. They really need our support. And I heard from the business owner that indeed, to your point, Bill, about the construction crew, that they occasionally have construction workers come into their business and have breakfast in the morning before work. So the construction crew is actually supporting local businesses, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah, we typically see that because they have to eat too, and they're ways from home as well. And sometimes they don't have their lunch pail near them, so they're able to frequent local businesses, which it's great to hear.
Yeah, it's terrific. Thank you. Thanks for all that good work.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, with that, I'll make a couple comments from the Commissioner's office. I was able to attend the Knee County High School graduation on Saturday, which was lovely and heartfelt. I was so glad to be there, and it was just, graduation is such a tender time, such a wonderful celebration for the whole community, really, for the kids and their parents and their grandparents and the whole community. And it was lovely. And the music, it's very nice. They had a slideshow, which I hadn't seen done before because it's a relatively small school district. So there aren't, multiple hundreds of graduates. So they had the time to put together and show the slideshow of each graduating senior, and their families sent in pictures, like, from little kids through their senior portraits. It was just great. And so congratulations to all graduating seniors of all of our high schools, and also the graduating nurses from TBCC and the whole TBCC graduating class. I'll get to go to that graduation the end of next week, the 13th. And so it's just really a wonderful community celebration. I was changing gears here. I was grateful that Senator Weber could join us on this call. Thank goodness. We've really missed her on this call, and fascinating to hear about all the work in the long session. So I'm grateful for her voice and her time and the work that they're doing, including, I was so glad that she talked about the bill that they're still working on to change the transient lodging tax, either change the way that governments can spend the revenue, or change one of the definitions so that governments can spend the revenue on public safety. So we should all keep our fingers crossed for the outcome of that, because it's, the county and other local governments, city governments really need additional revenue. And I said I would talk for a minute about ballot measure 29-183, which was our measure asking voters to approve increasing the transient lodging tax rate. And that is down by 11 votes currently. We'll have to go to recount. It triggers an automatic recount when it's that close. And so it'll go to a recount, and people can still rectify their signatures. And I wanted to talk about that for a minute. There are, if the clerk is listening and she wants to jump on, I would welcome her to tell us the exact number. But there were quite a few, somewhere under 100 signatures that were challenged, or envelopes, the secrecy envelopes not signed. So as you recall, if you vote and you fold up your ballot and put it in the envelope, and then you sign the envelope. You don't sign the ballot, but the envelope. So if the envelope is not signed, then the ballot isn't valid. And also, but they don't throw it out. They contact you and say, we received your ballot, but your envelope was unsigned. So they send people letters in the mail and contact them and ask them to come in and sign the envelope. And so the other thing that happens is if people's signatures on file don't match the signature on the envelope, then that also triggers, they hold the ballot, they contact the voter and say, please come rectify your signature. So that's really important because it is addressing the potential for fraud, for somebody voting for somebody else. And what happens, not everybody knows that they actually check every single signature on the envelope against our signatures of record. And so the clerk is forensically trained to do that. And so it's fascinating to witness and to even just to think about that every single ballot that comes in, the clerk is checking the signature on the envelope to the signature on file. And sometimes people's legal signatures change. I know mine has. And certainly from the time that, because people get registered to vote via motor voter, so when they get a license at Oregon DMV, their signature, that, where they scratch out their signature on the electronic pad, that's their legal signature until they change it. So the clerk is looking, for young voters, she's looking at the signature of record that's an electronic image from DMV, and most people's signatures change as they mature. And so if that's you voted, you took the trouble to vote, and you signed your envelope, you sent it in, and the signature on the envelope doesn't match the signature on file. So the clerk has notified you, let you know, please come in, rectify your signature. So it's not only important to count this ballot, but it'll be important for future elections also, because until you straighten it out, all of your signatures won't qualify if they don't match the one on record. So please, if people went to the trouble to vote, please contact the clerk's office. It's fast. Just come in, re-sign. It happened to my son. His signature changed as a young adult from his early signature. They sent him a letter. He went in, fixed it. It was easy to do. So that's important because people voted, and we want your votes to count, and we're waiting for you to rectify your signatures. And additionally, that list, the list of signature challenge votes, becomes public either today or tomorrow. And so thereafter, people may contact you and encourage you to vote. So that's not a privacy issue. It's part of the public process. So people, including me, may very well reach out and say, hey, we have your ballot in the clerk's office, but your signature needs to be rectified. So if that's you, please be prepared for people to reach out, and just invite you to come in and fix your signature so your vote can be counted, because every vote counts. I was talking about this earlier. The TLT measure is down by 11 votes. So it's that close. Every single vote counts. And, we obviously have no idea how those people whose signatures aren't rectified, we don't have any idea how they voted. So it could be that if everybody fixed their signature, it would be down by considerably more. But we don't know, and we just want people's votes to count. So please fix your signature if that's you and you haven't, or if you know somebody. I had to encourage my son to do it, because when he got his letter, he was like, and I said, go in and fix your signature. So if it's a young person, you might have to bug them. And we'll talk more later about, on this show in the next month or so, about what it means if the ballot measure 29-183, to increase the transient lodging tax, it does definitively fail. And we'll talk more about what that means to the county budget and to our future, how it plays out, if we'll go back out in a future election, et cetera. So we need to wait for the recount and for the election to be certified, and also to see what happens with the TLT bill that's still alive with the legislature. So I also just wanted to say that I had a chance to visit with new Tillamook City Manager Sean Lewis yesterday, and maybe he's on the call this morning, but thank you to Sean for coming over to the courthouse and getting to know me a little bit. He's doing that with all the commissioners and with people all over the community. It was a pleasure to visit with him and hear a little bit about his philosophy of leadership and his experience leading small cities. And I think he's just going to be a pleasure to work with, and Tillamook is lucky to have him. So with that, I will move on to the cities starting. Good morning. Hello.
That's very kind, Commissioner. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, we'll get to Tillamook in just a minute. We'll start with the city of Manzanita.
Good morning, everyone. I'm also looking forward to attending the Tsunami Roadshow here at the Pine Grove Community House on Lanita Avenue tomorrow. So that'll be great. And I think the call out to really encourage people new or newer to the area to attend is a really good one. That's the same thing I would do here and have been doing here. So thank you for all the people and all the hard work that will make that meeting possible. We are looking forward to our monthly city council meeting, which will be tomorrow night. And in addition to the normal business we get the pleasure tomorrow night to hear the announcement of who the Manzanita Citizen of the Year will be for this year. That's a long tradition here, and it's not a city function, but a group of volunteers have been doing this for many years. So they'll be announcing that tonight, and I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a nice chance to see another just really great example of people who really do live a life of service and help in so many ways. So that's always inspiring. So that'll be nice. In addition, I'll just call out one other big piece of work we've been doing and a couple of meetings that are coming up related to that, which has to do with the changes to our city zoning ordinance and our subdivision and land partition ordinance. So those two ordinances have been under a very thorough review for several months now by our Planning Commission, and they wound up and had their final work session on that yesterday. And so a public hearing on those changes will be held on June 9th. It will be via Zoom, and again, looking forward to being in our city hall so that we can do these meetings in public again, or face-to-face rather. They're still public, but so that'll be June 9th, and then with the City Council will be having a work session on June 11th to review the Planning Commission's work and see what community input we've got and what we make of that from the Planning Commission public hearing. And then on from there, we'll have additional meetings that'll be public hearings that the council will be running, because then it'll be in our court to listen, review, and decide in the end how we want to vote on that. So lots of work there, and we're just a little more than 4 weeks away from 4th of July, which is always a fun and busy time of year here in Manzanita. And like other communities, we've got our special traditions with a parade and a hardworking committee that's been getting ready for that pretty much since July 5th of last year. So thanks to all community volunteers out there, however you are doing your work. And that's it from Manzanita. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And just to add to volunteer thanks, I was in Manzanita on Saturday for the Friends of the Library book sale. So the Manzanita Friends of the Library have an annual book sale to benefit the Manzanita Library, because the Friends group owns and maintains the building, which is beautiful. And so it's a fabulous sale. And I was just so moved by it. It's a big sale. They collect books all year. They store books all year. There were a lot of volunteers there. It was well organized, and the room was just full of volunteers who'd been working for all weekend, but also, part of the year to organize this sale to benefit the library. And I was just so moved by how many people work behind the scenes voluntarily for the benefit of the community. So shout out and thanks to the Manzanita Library Friends Group and to all volunteers. Our community would not be what it is without your work.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. I'll pass that on to the library folks here as well.
Oh, you're welcome. And I drove by the new City Hall, and it's looking beautiful. I was so excited for you and for the community. But I thought, oh my gosh, it's just going to be so nice for everybody to work in that building. It's really shaping up.
Yeah, we're so looking forward to that. I mean, we've really, to be back in a building that's really open and easy to access and ADA compliant and out of the tsunami zone, and just the ability to get in there and start to meet more often face to face and host other groups to get input. It's going to be a real pleasure to be in there. So thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Not mildewed. That should be on the list. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being here. Let's move on to the city of Nehalem. Do we have anybody on from Nehalem? I thought for a moment that we saw a Nehalem phone number.
Hi there. This is Phil Chick. Good morning, Commissioner and all.
Good morning. Nice to hear your voice.
Good to be here. So we've been working on some water projects, wrapping up a raw water transmission line project on Anderson Creek. It's a supplemental source for the summertime. We're kind of concerned about drought effects coming to Tillamook County. It's been a really dry year, so this is very timely for us. This is also ARPA funded, so we're happy to be finally wrapping that up. We'll be doing some outreach to our water customers for water conservation pretty soon. Another project we are doing related to water is the city's beginning to update our 25-year-old forest management plan, working with the city's forester as well as staff from Oregon DEQ Source Water Protection Program. And we're going to gather some input from North Coast Land Conservancy and the public as well. So we're hoping that is out in a draft format probably by the fall. Let's see. In other news, speaking of ODOT, Bill Jablonski was on earlier. So we wanted to thank ODOT for working with us recently. The speed limit has been reduced in Nehalem. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but the speed has gone down from 30 to 20 through town. So you've been warned. It was 30 was just too fast for people to be driving through the business district. And we had a pedestrian, get hit last year, and we just decided we had to do something about that. Thankfully, they weren't injured, but we didn't want to see that happen again. So 20 through town. Happy that happened so quickly with the ODOT. Let's see. The city was recently awarded $75,000 in grant funds through Tillamook Coast Visitors Association, and that was to develop a green space and park right on the river. It's at the intersection of 101 and the flashing light there. You've probably seen some falling down construction fence that we're hoping won't be there too much longer. This was kind of a cool thing. It was a public-private partnership with the landowner just to dress that area up and hopefully get people stopping in Nehalem, enjoying the river, enjoying the businesses down there. There'll be some picnic tables, a small gazebo, and grassy area as well. And I think that's about it. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mayor. It is great to have you on the call, and that's a lot of good news. I was picturing the park. I know the area that you're talking about at the riverside at the flashing light, and it's so pretty there. There's a little city dock, and I have sat on that dock and watched the river, and and launched a kayak from there. It's just beautiful. So I think it's wonderful that we'll be able to use transient lodging tax funds for developing a park there. That's great news.
Yeah, that's the Dale Stockton Memorial Dock. That was just named for Dale Stockton, a former mayor and big Tillamook County volunteer over the years. We did that
Nice.
Last summer. So
Great.
come by and enjoy the view.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for your report and for being with us.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone on from Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach? Mayor Ely, are you with us this morning?
I am here this morning, getting off of mute.
Good
Can you hear
morning.
me?
Yes,
Good
we
morning.
can. Good morning.
Rockaway Beach Emergency Preparedness present fire safety and reducing the risks of wildland fire danger tomorrow, Wednesday, June 4th at 6 p.m. At Rockaway Beach City Hall. Those presentations are always informative, and I'm particularly looking forward to this one. Thursday kicks off p.m. to 6 p.m. And I look forward to our monthly mayor's lunch today at the Roost in Wheeler. It was set up by Mayor Donahue of Wheeler, and looking forward to seeing and talking with the mayors of North County. And then finally, a big thank you to Senator Webber and Rep. Javity for the work they're doing on transient lodging tax. The recognition that tourists use our roads, water systems, and sewer systems, and increased demand on police and fire services is welcome and long overdue. I will say probably the thing about that makes me the most nervous is if the earthquake, the big one, happens in July, that's a whole different kettle of fish than if it happens in December, and the costs to gear up to handle that type of event are beyond our city's capabilities. So we do need a way to provide funding to make sure we can take care of tourists during the busy months if that event should happen. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree completely, and that was the basis of some testimony I shared in a previous hearing on that bill, that there's no way that local cities or the county can afford to prepare to take care of visitors during an emergency. We're strapped to figure out how to prepare to take care of people who live here. But of course, we all know that in the summer that number is exponentially higher. And what happens? What happens if it's a summer day and the beaches are full and we have tsunami? How will we take care of those people? What would happen is that we would try to take care of them. Of course, we're not going to ask people where they live. We're going to try to take care of everybody. But the stores that are set aside for local people to survive in the days following a disaster would be readily used up by visitors if it happened during the summer, which isn't fair to anybody. So I agree with you 100%. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody on from the city of Garibaldi? How about Bay City?
Good morning. This is Mayor Welch.
Good morning,
So
Mayor.
I just want to, good morning. We have a city council meeting next Tuesday, June 10th at 6 p.m. And tonight, this evening, we'll be having our last meeting of our strategic planning efforts. We've been working with staff, our council, and citizens to develop a plan for the next 5 to 10 years of what's most important to Bay City and how are we going to get there. So we've spent a lot of time on that. We've talked a little bit on here about Visit Tillamook Coast. So we have some new signs from Visit Tillamook Coast Wayfinding that'll be installed next week. And it's always a pleasure to work with Nan Devlin from Visit Tillamook Coast. She does so much for all of our communities here. And then the Bay City Arts Center has a new exhibit that opens this Friday at 5 p.m. They certainly continue to be a cultural magnet for the city of Bay City, and it's just wonderful to see what's going on there. And that's all I have for Bay City today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for the shout out to Nan Devlin and the Tillamook Coast Visitors Association. I agree with you completely. Nan does a brilliant job, such important work. It's a benefit to cities, to the county, and to many, many local businesses. And it's great work. And people don't always know that it's transient lodging tax revenue that supports that work largely. There are some projects that Nan does that bring in a separate revenue stream, but it's small compared to the bulk of the revenue that supports that organization is transient lodging tax. So when we're talking about it, people should know that all of that good work is thanks to transient lodging tax. That's how we pay for it, and thanks to Nan Devlin. So thank you for mentioning Nan and her organization.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the city of Tillamook and City Manager Sean Lewis. Good morning.
Good morning, and again, thank you for your kind shout out earlier. The most important thing that we have going on, as mentioned by Senator Weber, is our dedication of our 2nd Street Plaza as the new Doug Henson Plaza. That is happening Saturday at 11 o'clock. It'll be a wonderful ceremony. I believe there's a plaque going up in honor of former City Council member Doug Henson, who passed away last year. So that's the most important thing we've got going in Tillamook. And then just personally, thank you to everybody that's made me feel so welcome as we've come to meet with you. And we hope to meet with other people and everyone soon and get to know everybody. And it's been a wonderful first few weeks for me here in Tillamook. So thank you.
You're welcome. And yes, and welcome to the community. I appreciate you mentioning 2nd Street Plaza, which is a great public space. It was really visionary of the Tillamook City Council to imagine that as a public space rather than a street. And I appreciate the work of former City Councilor Henson and his work on that, and lots of things, including the Veterans Memorial there on 101 and Main. Do we have anything else for the good of the order this morning? If not, I will say thank you to everyone for participating in this call, and thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you to KTIL for broadcasting. We are adjourned at 9:17. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.